Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Modern Dad Show. I'm Chandru
I'm Carl Lyons.
and we are Modern Dads.
We are.
Right, so this week's episode is about...
Well, we've just had this horrendous process, which is the transfer from primary school into secondary school. We've just gone through that whole thing. I wanted to talk about that because it's so fraught, so complicated. I thought there might be some useful information for the viewers out there.
I think it's going to be very valuable, and in fact, perhaps you should start a consultancy and not give it away for free.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. So my eldest, who's in year 6 now, she's 11 years old, and year 6 to year 7, so the transfer from primary school into secondary school. And I've got to tell you, it's seriously complicated. It's almost as if you're training an airline pilot or somebody for the SAS or something like that. The process is so long drawn out in actual fact. The bar is set so high,
right,
and the things that you've got to do to actually go through that are just absolutely insane.
Well, it's intense. It's incredibly intense. One of the students, I think, who was getting a musical scholarship for St. Paul's, which is a private school in London, had to be, I think, grade 5,
grade 6 or grade 7 in two instruments,
right?
Yeah.
Plus you have to be, fantastic academically and possibly athletically.
Indeed. You've got to have clones, right?
Yeah.
To achieve that kind of level at 11 years old, we're talking about here.
How do you deal with it? So one of the things you could do is you homeschool. And I know a lot of children who have been homeschooled and have excelled beyond their counterparts in school. The second thing you could do is get your kids into, for instance, St. Paul's, a private school. You get them in earlier. You don't wait till year 6 because theoretically it's less competitive and it's less stressful.
Yeah, well, with some of them actually, some of them you can get into that school system. Some of them have either feeder schools or they have primary schools attached to it. So you can actually make the application at about 7+.
Yeah.
And some people say that, going through that process of examination with a 7-year-old, which is, pretty onerous in itself, but not quite the same as when you do it at 11+, if you see what I mean.
I don't know how your child dealt with the pressure of these exams, but I was talking to a parent who has a 7-year-old doing 7+ exams, and their child was having stress pains related to going to school and preparing for these exams at the age of 7, which is awful. And again, I don't remember ever going through something like that.
I know, and is that a childhood?
The other option is you go to the schools which is more focused on networking, where it's more about the money that you have, the connections that you have, and it's supposedly easier to get in.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know yet. It is something that you need to be aware of, something you need to prepare for, but you also have to factor in what comes attached to it.
I suppose there's a fundamental decision to make here, isn't there, about, whether your kid's in that system or not. If you're in, you're kind of in a sense. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing really in between those two
Sounds
things,
like the
it
Matrix.
seems to me. Yeah. Do you take the blue or the red pill?
Blue pill.
So even if you get offered a place, the pressure doesn't stop there, basically. Right. So the way that some schools do it is that they offer the number of places that are available, but then they offer a waiting list. But what some schools do is they over-offer on the basis, I'm sure, that a percentage will decline because they're going to go somewhere else and accept an offer from another school. So it's a bit of a risky one in so much as they offer more places than they've got available. So then if they've got more acceptances than they've got places, it's on a first come first served basis. Right. So I know people that had to rush down with a wheelbarrow full of money to put down a deposit for this stuff.
Going to these amazing schools like St. Paul's doesn't guarantee a successful career going forward.
No, I guess not.
So if you take a step back and you just say, look, I just wanted to get a decent education, it doesn't have to be exceptional. And in exchange for that, I don't have to put them through these rigorous steps, these these intense regimes where they have to learn 3 languages, 2 instruments, and how to do origami in their sleep. I just need them to get through school, get to university, get a decent education, and then everything will fall into place. There's a parent that goes to our school, and he said something which was quite interesting to me, which is if our children get too much homework, We're going to do the best we can, and that's what we tell our children. But if they get too much homework, we just send a letter to the teacher saying, that was too much homework. And, enjoy your Sunday and everything. And I thought that was pretty gangster of him. And he's a preacher,
When I went to visit some of these schools, it was an amazing experience, actually. I was ended up getting education envy in some cases because, the facilities are great, but, my daughter's going to go to an all-girls school, for example, and the kids that got up and spoke, the level of confidence and, self-assuredness and the self-esteem that comes out of that whole experience, I kind of came away thinking, I want that for the
traditional way of going, trying to aim for the elite schools and whatnot is a really hard road. And this is from my discussions with you.
Yeah, no,
for the parents and the children.
Yeah, I agree. And our experience has been that the earlier you start and get your head in that frame of mind and
you'll be better prepared.
Plan and prepare for it. I think that's a good thing to do.
So those are our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah. Please subscribe, and if you have any questions, please do contact us.
Absolutely.
Action. Welcome back to the Madam. Let's start. Welcome back to your mother. Okay, ready? All right, we good?
All right. I'm all right.
No, I'm not. All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.